Knots are made to be fun. There's an exercise where we tie 10 different bowlines within under 3 minutes of time using the same piece of line and with explanation. The 10 different bowlines. So get ready to start your clock. Ready?
Flying tugboat bowling.
Goes like this. It's one and it's done.
Inside bowling.
So I have to get that out. The second one is the inside bowling. It's the standard bowling. Here and down. The bitter end is on the inside. The next one.
Outside bowling.
Outside bowling. It's going to be the bitter end on the outside. This comes through, pop. See, the bitter end is on the outside. Only use this with stranded line. What's the next one?
Double bowling.
The double bowling. The double bowling or the French bowling. 1, 2, 3. And there's the double bowling. There. What's next?
Bowling on a bite.
Bowling on a bite. Remember, the bite is any bend in the line, make equal distance. We have a bowling on a bite. Create the bite, take it through, bring it back, pop it.
Bowling on a bite with a tail loop.
Bowling on a bite with a tail loop. You got a bite of the line. You start in, around, and there's the tail loop, making 2 distinct loops. There's your bowling on a bite with a tail loop. What's next?
Spanish bowling.
Spanish bowling is a substitute for a man harness. You start out with 2 equal bites of the line, correct? Equal to, create 4. Take 2 loops, the 2 outer board loops, go in, and pull the line. Looks like Bugs Bunny's ears. A bowline is easy to tie and easy to untie. What's next?
Double Spanish bowling.
This is used for an unconscious person to move them without them falling out. You create equal lengths. You start out with 2 bites. You create 4 bites. You create 6 bites. You take the outer loops around to the inside. Remember, you'll make these in larger fashion to use for practical use. There it is. You have the 2 loops. Your legs go here. Your arms go here. And you strap your back across. It's a double Spanish bowling. Easy to tie, easy to untie. What's next?
One hand around the waist bowling.
One hand around the base bowling. People make mistakes. Use the bitter end. Point your fingers as a conical shape. Create the loop. Take your fingers and ring fingers and pop back. There's the one-handed bowling.
Waterman's bowling.
Waterman's bowling. I need some assistance. Hold the line. Waterman's bowling looks this quick. And it's done. All the work, all the strain is off here. It's here. What's next?
That's it, 10.
That's it. That's 10. 10 different bowlines, and I'm sure I'm right at 3 minutes. Tugboat bowling.
Okay.
Inside bowling, which is the bitter end. Create around. The bitter end comes on the inside of the loop or the working part. The outside bowling, the bitter end will come on the outside. Thus, like this. You should only use this with stranded line on the outside so it'll bite. What's the next one, Jim?
Which was that?
That was the outside bowling.
Double bowling.
The double bowling, or French bowling, which you will see later on. Create 1 loop, bring the bitter end through, creating an eye, come right back down the hole you just created. 1 loop about this. That is the Spanish bowling and the bowling on a bite. The eyes cannot adjust. This one adjusts. The loop can be adjusted. That is the French bowling or the double bowling.
Bowling on a bite.
The bowling on a bite. Remember, we talked about the bowling on a bite. This is a bend or a bite in the line. You create the distance, put an overhand knot in, drop it, bring it back to itself, pull this through, and you will see the distinct bowline on the bite of the line. So there's a bowline on a bite without a tail. Next one.
With a tail.
Again, bowline on a bite with a tail used for tether. You start out with the bite of the line. You're just creating and tying the bowline onto the bite of the line. So you create it just like you're doing an inside bowline, but it's going to wind up having an extra eyelet. So you see the bowline right here. There's the bowline. There's the bite with the 2, and the 3rd is a tether. What's next?
Double Spanish bowling.
Spanish bowling.
Or Spanish bowling.
Single Spanish bowling is also used. So here we go. You start out with 2 distinct loops, rotated upside down. You pinch it at the top at the 2 bites. Bring it back, creating 4 loops. Take the outside loops to the inside. This will look a little like Bugs Bunny's ears when we're done. Looks like this. In practical application, you make it much larger and a larger diameter line, and you step your legs into it. You never put it behind you. You always step into it. The knot will rest. It will not slip. It's a very safe knot. And then you use to hoist yourself up. A bowline is easy to tie, easy to untie. If you have a lethargic or unconscious person and you need to move them, you would use the what? Double Spanish bowline, which looks like this. You create, just like you're creating a Spanish bowline, you start out with the 2 equal loops, you create 4 loops, and you create 6 loops. Remember, you're going to make this in much larger scale, so you may have to lay your large line out on the ground to walk these. You take the outside larger loops to the inside smaller loops. Once you pull it tight, you will see what will happen. Your leg loops will be longer than your arm loops. You step into the knot with your legs here, dress it between the crotch area. Your arms will go in each side, and then you put a thricing line to secure it at the back. The victim or the person that you're moving cannot fall out of the line. It's called a double Spanish bowline. And it looks really nice and it's very practical. There's the back. The bowline is easy to tie and easy to untie. Gone. What's next?
1 hand around the waist.
1 hand around the waist. Too many people make the mistake. Young scouts, if you're thrown a line because you don't have a life ring and they just throw a straight line to you, you should be able to hold tension with the right hand or the left hand respectively. A little bit of working in, take it in, create the loop. Never, never put your hand all the way in because you can't get your wrist out once the working end gets a strain. Form your fingers like a fid, a wood fid. Create the loop. Take a round and take your ring finger and small baby finger and pull, and there's the one-handed bowline around the waist. That's in slow form. What's next?
Waterman's.
Waterman's bowline requires a little help. If you're trying to pull a deadhead or a piling in the water, or you're having problems, what you want to do is you want to very quickly know how to do this. You create the small eye, which is going to take all the strain. You come up and you're going to create the bowline right here. All the strain will be on this eye. So I've got this around. Instead of me worrying about a timber hitch, which you'll learn later, all the strain will be here, which takes all the strain off of the bowline. This is a Waterman's bowline. Okay. 10 different bowlines.